Happy Saturday. Well, if you're a Cardinals fan, happy Saturday because I'm a Cardinals fan. And welcome to another show of Cardinals Bird Row. I am your host, LaDonna, and I'm happy. I'm a happy Cardinals fan. I couldn't be happier. This is one of those times that, why wouldn't you be a happy Cardinals fan? Um, it's amazing what happened yesterday, and it was fun to watch the last two games of the season. Happy baseball season, everybody. I don't want to say that, not say that because the first day, not just Cardinals baseball, but the first day of the season, there was 48 home runs in just the first day of baseball. And that's an amazing record to have the first day, especially when, some people are thinking baseball is not going to have that, um, the home run still, even though it feels like we might see more of these. We might have more of those days. But like I said, first day of baseball, 48 home runs. Two of them came from our own Colton Wong, and one of them came from Harrison Bader in that first game versus the Brewers. Thursday afternoon game, Wong hit the home run, first pitch, and Fowler scored. And then Bader hit it back to back, another home run. So it was back to back home runs. Michaelis was our pitcher, and he didn't look so well. I'm not going to knock him or anything, but he didn't look so well at all. He wasn't the Michaelis that we were used to. He allowed 5 runs, 5 hits. He did get a walk. His ERA was like I think a 9. Um, so I'm pretty sure, we won't see that again. Well, as a Cardinal fan, you don't want to see that again. Cardinals did lose that game 5-4. Like I said, it was an amazing game. I am not mad at that game at all, just due to the fact that we could have tied it up. But Lorenzo Cain made an amazing catch, and robbed Jose Martinez's home run. In that game, we Ozuna got a hit, like I stated. Wong got his 2 home runs, and Bader got his 1 home run. That first home run uh, that was hit by Wong, there is like a promotional car in the Brewer Stadium, and I don't know why they have it there. I did talk to a Brewers fan, and they told me it was like they have something there almost all the time. And sure enough, it never failed. The very first post, the very first ball thrown to him, he threw it. It was gone. Um, and so it was, and it dented it. It dented the truck, and that was pretty hilarious to me. Uh, that like that game couldn't have been better at all. That's all I'm going to say about that game. I don't like the outcome, but I cannot get mad um, about that game. Some other news that happened that I heard from that game, because there was several players on the DL. Excuse me. Besides Brett Cecil, you had Jerko. Of course, you have Carlos Martinez, um, Luke Gregerson. Brett Cecil is on the IL for carpal tunnel, and because of what I said probably a few weeks back about his mechanics is thrown off because he's lost so much weight. Right now, they were saying the original was a 10-day IL, and now I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true, I heard it from the own Cardinals announcers, that it might be 60. They might have boosted it up to 60 days, and they don't know what they're going to do with him. Um, right now, like I told my mom, I just don't know he's worth not if he's worth not playing because we are paying him so much money. Uh, but at the same time, um we have to see what goes on. Again, Carlos Martinez, I stated that he might be gone just for a couple weeks. He has a strained rotator cuff, and now they're saying he might be out 1 to 2 months right now. And again, he doesn't have a role. Uh, it's so again, we have both of these pitchers that have no roles right now, as of right now. Um, Jed Jerko, it has a calf issue, and that's why you haven't seen him in the last couple games of spring training. Um, but he should be back April 4th, which is our home opener. And then Luke Gregerson, as a right shoulder impingement, will be eligible to return from the IL on April 4th, which, again, like I stated before, that is our home opener. Um, and then after that, uh, we'll hopefully, like I said, we'll have a great rotation with Lou Gregerson in after during Friday's game. I guess before Friday's game, we finally got answer from Schmidt that um, Jordan Hicks will be probably more likely our closer. That's mainly going to be his role this season, which I'm glad we finally got an answer because we hadn't heard it. All we heard was Miller or Jordan, or I'm sorry, Hicks. Just call him by his last name, not just by his first name, like I know him. But I'm glad to see that it's going to be Hicks. It could change. It could possibly change, and during the course of the season. But right now, if we need a closing position, it's going to be Hicks. Yesterday, game 2 was a 7:10 Central game. And it was a beauty. I am trying to see if I can get this to play. That. Maybe not. But Goldsmith steps to the plate in the first. And Dexter Flower is on base because of a walk, and he hits a home run. That home run was 373 feet long, and it was a beauty. I loved every bit of it. Of course, I had a great. There was nothing you could say or do uh, for me as a fan, because I was at spring training when he hit his first, and now to actually watch his first actually done, um, it was a great feeling. Definitely a great feeling. That game was definitely interesting as well because of just what was going on. He hit a home run in the first, and then they scored, and the Brewers were scored. It was back and forth, just like the first game. It was back and uh, I could not tell you how excited I was as a fan. But Goldsmith in the sixth inning hit another home run, and that was 415 feet. Um, and this 415 feet long. Um, again, this man, I'm gonna talk about some things that I was just kind of hearing yesterday, but you cannot. It was amazing. But then here comes number three.
I drive out to left. You bet he's done it. He's done it. 3 home runs. Goldschmidt, 3 home run night. Three. Count him up. In his second game as a Cardinal. 3 home runs. Goldschmidt.
That's Dan McLaughlin calling that. I love Dan McLaughlin. He's one of our local announcers. Yes, Goldsmith hit a hat trick, and I was ecstatic. Um, very ecstatic to see that. Um it's one of those things that's a history made. This is actually his second one in his career, but this is our 11th player in Cardinals history to do this. He's also he finished fifth with 4 hits and 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. There's only 4 people in Cardinals history to do this. And the other 4 are Stan Musial, Mark Whiten, Albert Pujols, and Matt Carpenter. They're the only people again to finish a game with 4 hits, 3 home runs, and 5 RBIs. He to be in that class with Stan Musial, Mark Whiten, Albert Pujols, and people forget that our third baseman Matt Carpenter is better than what he seems. They always seem like think that he's not going to do nothing, but he is great. Um, Flaherty was our pitcher. He pitched for about 4.1, not even 4.5 innings. He had 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. The win came to John Gant. Hicks and Reyes came in, and they both had a 1, 2, 3 inning. Both of them looked good. Both of them looked sharp. It was great. Uh, Today's game is going to be Dakota Hudson. Last season, he went 4-1. His ERA was 2.63 and 26 appearances. That's at the end of spring training, he made some big plays. Well, he did some big pitching plays, and he looked really good. So that's how he beat out John Gant, because I actually thought it might have been Gant that was going to be the starter. But I was wrong. This is one of those, but Dakota Hudson, like I said, he has been doing good as well. So I'm not mad that he got the call. Another moment in history, Matt Carpenter had 2 hits. One of them became his 11th his 1000th, I'm sorry, his 1000 career hit when he drove in the run in the 7th. So again, more history has been made. There was a lot of history done yesterday, and I can't even get mad because of all the history that we have seen um, this yesterday. Whew, I couldn't even breathe. If Cardinals fans watch this, they're probably the same way. It was amazing. His when Goldsmith went up, and he actually there was a chance that he might get another home run, because he came up in the bottom on the top of the ninth, and they intentionally walked him. I'm not pitching to him. People were calling the Brewers scaredy cats and calling him all types of names. I wouldn't have pitched to him before that third home run, because by that time he already had 2 home runs and a single. I wouldn't have pitched to him. As a person looking at the game, and I was even telling my husband, I said, I wouldn't pitch to him. Even though it was a different pitcher by that time, I said it. I would not pitch to him at that moment. Well, they pitched to him. He got another home run. They should have probably listened to me because I told them, do not pitch to him. He was just too hot. There was a video. It's not about Cardinals baseball, but it was a girl in soft, and she played softball, and it was the same way. Every time she touched the ball, it just went over the fence. I'm not pitching to her, and I would not have pitched to Goldsmith yesterday after 2 home runs and a single that scored somebody. No, no, no. That's just my opinion. You know, um, what I've been seeing and what I was just talking about Goldsmith, some people are still mad because of Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt was a great player for the Cardinals and he is a homegrown kid, but now he's with the Yankees and he's in a good spot. When Luke Voigt came up in the Cardinal system, he came up as a catcher. When does Yachty take off? Never. Never. There was, I told my friends last season that, the last year Kelly and Francisco Pena got the most time from a backup catcher than any other backup catcher, just due to an injury that he was out, that groin injury, he was out for a month. But that was the most time out of Yachty's, at that time, 14-year career. This makes year number 15 that anyone got time. So if he was brought up as a catcher, where was he? When was he going to play? And then he wasn't going to beat out Matt Carpenter for first. And at that time, he wasn't going to beat out Jed Jerko for third. Now we got Goldsmith at first, and now we have Matt Carpenter at third. So again, if you want Luke Voigt on the team, where is he going to play? There's talking about, the trade. 2 people that he got traded for, they're not even on the team. Well, Shreve is actually in Memphis. He's still technically part of the Cardinals organization. He's just not in the big leagues. He's still with them. His waivers cleared and he went back to Memphis. So he is still part of the Cardinals organization. I don't get why people are so upset about that. They're talking about we could have did better, but we have Goldsmith at first. Do you want Roy over Goldie? Because y'all need to go to New York. I don't know what else to tell you. But you don't complain about a trade when it's actually working out in our favor because we ended up getting Goldie at first. And look what he did. Yes, Voigt is up in New York doing great things, but he is on it. First game, he was a DH. He wasn't even playing. So that spot for him is actually a good spot because he's not playing. He's a DH. And that could be his position probably majority of the season. Well, he'll be a DH if he's not playing first base. Because he's not going to be in the outfield. He's not that quick. So the best position for him is going to be first because he's not catching. He's not going to catch this season up there. So it'll be DH or first base when they need him. But more likely he'll be DH for majority of the season, which I am very proud of him because it fits. It fits him. But you do see these Cardinal fans complaining about that. They're complaining. They are complaining about Dexter Fowler already. Dude, give me a break about Dex. It is game number 3. And some people, it's not like he's hitless. There's some big names out there that are hitless. Like, hadn't even hit the ball, and they're getting paid way more than Dex. And I understand that we're giving Dex a lot of money. Trust me, I get it. But it's game 3, people. Game 3. It's not like we're dying here. It's not like we've lost both games. It's not like he's out there doing um bad defensive plays. You don't understand, the first game he uh he did score, but he walked. He did get one hit yesterday, and right now, yes, he is batting only a 167, but there's other players out there that aren't doing nothing. Nothing. And Manny Machado, let's talk about him. Um, he finally got on board with 2 hits yesterday. Finally. And we know what the Manny Machado contract is. If you don't know, Google it because it's way more than Dex. Or we could talk about that guy in Philly, Bryce Harper. His first game, he went for 0-4, and the Philly fans started booing him. And we know his contract is way more than Dexter Flower. And you're over here giving Dex grief for having just one hit. Um, Mad Mike says that Phillies fans are morons. They're not the brightest. They are savage. I will say that Phillies fans are savage. I was on a show earlier this week. Shout out to Courtney Harden. I was on his show earlier this week, and we talked about this. And he's from Philly. For football, he's an Eagles fan. For baseball, he is a Philly fan. And he was saying, if he doesn't do well, they will boo. And I said, remember Carlos Stanton got booed last year from the Yankees, and he was hitting. He just didn't hit home runs like they thought he should. And I said by game 4 or 5, they're gonna start booing. They're gonna start booing Bryce Harper. Well, my prediction was wrong. It was game 1. They started booing him, and woo! I guess I'll never play in Philly because those fans are evil. Y'all couldn't even give him 2 days. Like, they didn't play Friday, so they'll play today. Hopefully he does something again, does something for him, or he's going to get booed again. And I can't imagine playing. This is going to be a long 13 years, well, 12 since he's in the first one, a long 13-year season with him. If he stays at this rate, I'm kind of enjoying it just because I got tired of hearing Bryce is doing this, Bryce is doing that, Bryce is doing this. Cardinals fans wanting him so badly, but I'm like, dude, where are we going to put him? Where in the outfield would we put him? People, my mom said a great statement yesterday that you talk about Cardinals, that Mo never spends money on players. You complain. Cardinals fans complain in these groups that Mo, our GM, does not spend money on players. So when he spends money on players, which I said last week, Goldsmith contract is the highest contract in Cardinals history. And you want him to spend money. So he's spent money. He's spending money. And right now Goldie is looking to pay off. But then you want Voit. So which one is it? Do you want him to spend money, or do you want him to keep players because you like him so much? Which one is it? You want him to spend money or keep players that we don't really have a spot for? Spend money, keep players. Spend money. Which one is it? Because right now I can tell you, I'd rather him spend some money on players that we need to fill in the position instead of keeping players that we can't do nothing for them, or they have no spot in our lineup. That's what I would rather have. And some people might not agree with my opinion. That is fine, but it's the truth. I'm telling the truth. Most Cardinal fans are going to agree with me. You would rather your GM spend money than you them keep players that we have no position for. I really thought Jed Jerko might be out the door, and it's not to be, to be mean or to be funny. It's just right now Munoz and Drew Robinson might be what we need. And Jed Jerko stated before he doesn't really have a role, and he's injured, and he won't come back till April 4th. Well, he won't be eligible to come back till April 4th, so I don't know if he'll be automatically brought up to the team on April 4th, or somebody else might go down to Memphis on April, um, or they might use him as trade bait and get another pitcher. We don't know what is going to go happen with Jed Jerko, but it's the same situation. I like Jed Jerko. He's like one of my favorite utility players. Um, but where do we need him? That's the question of the day. Where do we need Jed Jerko? Right now, we don't. I'm not saying in the future we won't, but right now we don't need Jed Jerko. Um, and it's just the truth. Um, but people will have these crazy, obnoxious opinions, and they don't care what anybody says. They just think their opinion's correct. Um, I just say lighten up. It's game 3. We're about to have game 3 at 6:30 tonight Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. Again, we are playing in Milwaukee. I need the Cardinals to win because my crazy butt has made a crazy bet with one of the Brewers fans. He is an admin of the group that I am in, the MLB Diamond. Great group of guys, and I made some crazy bet. Let's just say if I'm crying next week, or you already know what happened. But if you see me smiling, happy, cheery, go lucky, then I won. That's all it is. Um, but our next few games, I don't like our schedule. To be honest, I stated it last week. If you didn't hear me last week, I'll state it again. We play the Brewers too much. Um, there's other teams, and it's not like, okay, I understand they're in our division, but our schedule, it's Brewers, 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 somebody else. Like, what happened to other teams? Um, we play the Pirates after the Brewers 2 games, then we play the Padres, then we play the Dodgers. Okay. And then we play the Reds, and then we play the Brewers again. April 15th, 16th, and 17th. We're back playing the Brewers in Milwaukee. Like, who is the scheduler? Like, you need to be fired. Then we play the Reds, and guess what? Who we play again? Not even a week later, we play Milwaukee. But this time they're coming to St. Louis, and we play the Reds again. It's fire fire the scheduler. Like, we don't see the Cubs until May. We don't see Pittsburgh until May. And I think I'm trying to figure out when we don't play the Brewers again, I think, until, like, I'm looking. But we play them a whole bunch at this very beginning. And then we don't play them again until August. Just scheduler of our fired. Because we play them constantly back to back to back in March and April, and then we don't see them again until August. Like, why couldn't you spread that out just a little bit better? But again, that's just like my real only complaint. It's not even about um it's not about the players, it's about the scheduler. I will say the officiating of the last 2 games has been kind of just it's been a little bit of suspect. Uh, the strike zone is a little kind of just, if this is the bat, I mean, if this is the plate, and we have a ball, I'm gonna use this as the tip as my ball. They would call this a strike, which that's in the strike zone. I get it. But then the play next to it, they call this a strike. Okay, I get it. But then another player, the same position, he would call it a ball. You have to be consistent, umpire. You have to be. Um, I guess the only consistency I saw was game one. Harrison Bader, he didn't do a swing all the way around, and they called him saying he swung. And then yesterday, Thames for the Brewers did the same exact thing. Didn't look like he swung, but they said he swung. And of course, Thames was very boisterous, very vocal about it. He came because he was up there for a pitch hitter. Um, he slammed his bat and started cursing. I'm not for sure if he got kicked out of the game, but I know he's cursed out that third base umpire. So he was only a PH, so it doesn't really matter if he got kicked out or not. It's not like he had anything else to do. But that was the only consistency. But again, they were bad. Both of them were bad calls. Neither one of them swung. Um, I did forget to mention Yachty did throw out Kane yesterday. He tried to run on him. Stop trying to run on my Yadier Molina. I don't care that he's 36. I don't care that you think he's just mediocre. Stop running on him. Stop it. Stop. Yeah, you didn't learn. You haven't learned yet that he's going to get you. He's going to get everybody. Just because oh, he's just average now. I've been seeing that. Okay. Just because you think he's average, just watch. Just keep watching him. Um, there's some couple of games I want to watch. I want to just see the scores, not just from us, not just of course the Cardinals. There's a couple other games that I want to keep an eye on. This Boston Seattle game. Seattle won the first game. Um, Boston came back and won last night. It's been an interesting series. Mets and Nationals, they played game one, and it was the Cano show. Cano hit 2 home runs in that game. Very first ball Cano got, it was out of here. Braves and Phillies, they didn't play yesterday, and the Phillies won game one. They need to change that. Tehran. I don't know if I'm saying his name. They might need to move on. I said, I saw somebody talk to somebody earlier. Maybe it's put him in the bullpen. Maybe coming from the bullpen is what he needs, and not being a starter. Um, but yeah, the Mariners are right now because they had that early game. They're 3-1, but that's the game I really, really, really want to watch. Besides our own. The Rangers, I feel so bad for them because they just looked so horrible against the Cubs game one. But you never know, or the Baltimore didn't look good either against the Yankees game one. But again, you just never, never know. Uh, Before I go, I will say, please come find me. If you have any baseball questions, you want to talk about baseball, um, you come find me on Twitter. It's my my Twitter is Sports Diva 82, all one word. If you're on Instagram, it's Sports Diva underscore LD. Find 27 ounce baseball on Twitter, on Facebook. Find me at Strictly Prohibited Network. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on everything. Again, 27 ounce baseball and Strictly Prohibited Network are both the networks that I work with. Uh, great great guys. I'm the only female, I think, in both that does a show. I know in one, Strictly Private Network, I am the only female, but the other one, I am the only female that does a show. There are a couple other females, but they're photographers. Um, catch us every week. We have different shows. Strictly Prohibited Network has a show. We have a show on Tuesday nights, and it's going to be great. Hey, Charles. Mad Mike said that Tehran needs to go. He's a cancer. I don't think he's the greatest. I don't think he's one of the greatest players, pitchers um, out there. Hopefully that will change. Oh, and I was going to update you guys on my fantasy because I've never played fantasy baseball before. And so I would like to take a few minutes each week just to say about my fantasy and if I'm doing good or not. This week, so far, I am doing okay. I'm winning right now 138 to 96, but that can change. Um, that can change instantly, and it can, you know, right now, like I said, 138 to 96. Most of my players have hit a home run or made an RBI or something. My team right now is Yadier Molina, Voigt, Odur, Arenado, Story, Andres, Longoria, Springer, Schwaber, Harrison Bader, Grichuk, Braun, Taylor. But my pitchers are Cole, Michaelis, Chapman, Archer, Hicks, Lester, and Vincino from Atlanta, Gomber, and Dominguez. I also have Chu, Calhoun, and Bernhardt on the bench. Like I said, it's not too bad. That team's not that bad. That was my ESPN team. My Yahoo team, I am winning 10-2. I don't know how they do that one, but this one is Molina again, Bellinger, Carpenter, Guerrera, Andres, Devers, Conforto, Springer, Marquez, Hosmer, Ramos, Penderson, Carrera, Lagoria, and Cespedes. And then my pitchers for that team is DeGome, Sale, Rau, Hicks, Bradley, Brazier, Flaherty, Happ, Vincino, Herrera, and Stroman. Stroman did me good first game. Stroman was willing and dealing, um, which I was very proud of against because they're playing the Detroit, Toronto versus Detroit. Um, Win or go, or yeah, the admin group, the admin group that I'm in. I think it's the second one, or it might be the first one. Yeah, because that's the first one. I'm playing. I don't know who Kiss Army is. Oh, that's Dusty. I'm playing Dusty Charles this week. And so far, like I said, I'm looking decent. I'm not saying I'm going to win or anything. I'm not saying it's, cuz it's this baseball is like basketball. It's a week long. It's not like football is. Um Football, you already know, like, we're going to win, after, by 6 o'clock you could probably figure out if you're going to win or you need that win by somebody that night or something. This is a week long, but for me to be playing my first time, um, I'm happy for myself. I am very happy for my team. I did not think I was going to do just even this good, but I'm willing and dealing. Right now, there is a game that just started. Atlanta and Philadelphia just started, and Washington versus Mets just started. So those are the two games that are on. Again, the Cardinals will not be on until 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Um, it's a family affair because my mom will be here. My son will be cheering on. I have a video of him cheering on Goldie when he hit his home run. I'm teaching him young. He's going to be he's going to probably know all the Cardinals names by the age of 3. That's my goal. But thanks for everybody that watches and listens and supports me each and every week. I really do. I love you guys. It's been great. Yes, Charles Goldsmith had 3 last night, and I was a happy woman. That night couldn't have ended a better way than it did. Um, it was an amazing game for Cardinal yesterday. And as just a fan of baseball, I'm not saying Brewers hated it, but as a fan of baseball, you want to see that. It was really interesting when they intentionally walked him. How many people got up? Cardinals and Brewers fans got up and left because they were only there to see if they would witness history of him hitting the 4th home run. But right when they intentionally walked him, you saw all these people just leaving. Um, but yeah, well, hopefully somebody else will get hot tonight. First game was Wong today. Yesterday was Goldsmith. Come on, anybody else that wants to get hot tonight on the Cardinals team, I am all for it. But again, you're watching, listening on Spreaker, or you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. I did move my show back an hour. I will be on at 12 Eastern, 11 Central Time. I think it's just a little bit better to get more audience. Again, next week we'll do a recap of all the games. Win or lose, I'm doing a recap of it. And I will keep you guys updated on my fantasy team. And thank you so much. And you have a great weekend. And also, thank you, Blues, for clinching playoff spot. I am a Blues fan too. It's hockey. St. Louis has to represent St. Louis. We made it. Go Blues. Go Cardinals. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will talk to you later. Peace.